folks. Today I'm going to be showing you the game Bonkers, or this game is Bonkers. This game came out from Parker Brothers in 1978, and it is for 2 to 4 players. Now, Bonkers is a rather unique game in which you're going to start with an empty game board, and you're going to be placing pieces on the game board with instructions. The object of this game is you're trying to be the first person to reach 12 points. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be placing track cards that are going to allow your piece to move forward, to move backwards, actually to go into a score space, and in some cases will allow you to exchange different pieces on the board around to try to either mess up your opponent or help yourself, or both. So anyway, without further ado, let's show you Bonkers. Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and go over the components really quick. Of course, right here you have your game board, and this is a very 70s looking game board, as you can tell. And you'll also notice that there is nothing on any of these spaces as far as instructions. And that's part of the basis of this game, is that you're going to be adding instructions to these different spaces as the game is played on. Now, the object of this game is you're trying to be the first person to get to 12 points on that little score tray over there. Every time you score something, you're just simply going to move this marker up 1 or 2, or however many points you happen to score. Right here are what are called your track cards, and there's a whole bunch of these. You got one that says back 6, back 3, roll again. Let's see if there's a forward one. Here's a back 4, ahead 10, and then there's also one here that is called exchange cards. I'll explain what these mean here in just a little bit. But essentially what you're going to be doing is you're going to be placing these track cards on these spaces over here, and that is basically going to designate the instructions as to what you're going to do when you land on that space. Right here are what are called your go-to-lose cards. Everybody is going to receive one of these in the beginning of the game, and throughout the game you can play this card at any time against one of your opponents to knock their score down by 1. However, you're only going to receive one of these during the game, and once you use it, you lose it. So the way the game works is you're going to be rolling these dice over here to start, and you're just simply going to move at the beginning. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everyone's going to receive 4 of these cards, and they're going to be face up. And since I went ahead and I did that, I have a choice as to which card I want to play. So let's just say, for example, I played the roll again card right over here. Now, anytime me or somebody else lands on this space, this is what they're going to do, is roll again. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is roll again, because once you place a card, you're simply going to follow the instructions on it. So I'll go ahead and roll again. I've rolled a 6. Now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've landed on score. So now that I've landed on that, I'm going to go ahead and score 1 point. So green is going to go ahead and move up 1. And so now it is to player 2 who is up here. So let's say player 2 rolls, and he rolls a 7. He goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now he's going to go ahead and play a track card. And let's just say he decides he's going to go ahead and move ahead 3. So he'll go ahead and place this over here, and he will go ahead and move 1, 2, 3. And each person is going to go ahead and draw another card whenever they use their card, like so. Now let's just say one person rolls, and we go roll a 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say green decides he's going to play this go back 5. So he's going to go back 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then he's going to go ahead and end his turn. Now let's say during the game somebody actually had played this card somewhere in the game. So whenever he goes back 5 and he lands here, he's also going to have to follow what this card says. So in this case he would go 1, 2. And what would end up happening is, again, green would go ahead and score. So let's just say it was green's turn and he actually scored on there. Now let's say yellow goes ahead and rolls, and let's say he lands over here, and he decides he's going to play this go to nearest score card right over here. So what's going to happen is he's going to go ahead and play that, and then he's going to simply move over to where it says the nearest score is, and he's going to go ahead and count a point for himself. Now another way you can score a point is if you roll double 6s. Let's just say green happened to roll double 6s. He would go ahead and score a point for himself and then move the 6. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And since he landed on that from where he was, he's going to score again. So that can be rather helpful. Now, the way the go-to-lose card works is, let's just say it's yellow's turn, and he sees that green is way ahead. He decides to go ahead and play this card. Green is going to go ahead and move back 1, like so.
He would also go to the lose space.
Now, let's say it's yellow's turn again, and he's over here, and he happens to have a card that says exchange cards. Basically what this means is he can go ahead and play this card, and if he wants, he can actually replace this card with any of the cards that happen to be on the board. He does not have to do this at this point, but he can. So let's just say he decided to do something like this. He would take that, and then, I think this was here, and then he would simply follow the instructions as to what it said, and in this case, he would go ahead and score points, again, like so. Now, if you land on the lose space over here, or land on the go to lose space, then you're going to go and over here and you're going to lose a point. Now let's say you happen to be in a situation where you're rolling and you end up landing here, and it says ahead 5 and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it says go back 5. You're basically caught in what is called entrapment because you'd be going back and forth. What happens in this case is you would go ahead and score a point and would put your piece over on that part. On the forward space, and then count a point for yourself. Now, when the game really starts to get interesting is as more of these cards are getting played, you're going to be making multiple moves. So let's say, for example, say that yellow was over here and he landed on a head 10. He would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then he would go ahead and move back 3, so it'd be 1, 2, 3. Then he would move back 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in this case, he would go ahead and lose a point. So this is the reason why the game is never the same, because these pieces are always going to be on different spaces on the board. Not to mention the fact that you have the exchange cards piece there that you can go ahead and exchange cards throughout the game. So anyway, what's going to happen is the game is going to continue to be played like this. You'll be moving around, placing these track cards, exchanging track cards, and the first person to get to 12 points is going to be the winner. So, my final thoughts on the game Bonkers. All right, well, this is a very light game. It's a very fun game, I think. It's something that you would definitely play, I think, as a filler game. There's really nothing deep about it. Strategy-wise, it's really not that difficult to come up with a strategy because you're trying to figure out ways to score. So, a lot of times what you might do is you can just place a track card that has the amount of spaces that will reach you to the score space. Of course, if your opponent lands on that space, he can also score as well. But you can also put track cards on different spaces that'll make your opponent go on the lose space, but vice versa can also happen and you may end up being on the lose space. So a lot of what this game entails is just basically placing pieces, and you're just going to be moving around in all sorts of different directions in some cases, scoring points, maybe losing points, a lot of different little ways. The one unique thing about this game is that it really is never the same game twice. And it really just comes down to where these different track cards are going to go and how you're going to play them. Now, this is not a deep game, so if you're a heavy gamer, this is probably something you're not going to enjoy. I think this is a game that's good for kids. It's really, really easy to learn. And I think it's also a really good fun filler game for adults. It's like nothing really deep about it. It's just a regular fun filler game, I think. My wife and I enjoy this game, and it's always been fun when we have played it because you just never really know what's going to end up happening as you play the game. So that is my review of Bonkers. I hope you all have a great day. Keep on gaming.